Okay. Welcome, everyone. Over the past couple of days, you have heard a lot of announcements related to ecosystem, so let me give you another perspective on these announcements, this time from the JIRA perspective. So welcome to JIRA State of the Union presentation. A few words about myself. My name is Bartek Gatz, and for those of you who do not know me, I'm working from Gdańsk in Poland. I have joined Atlassian in March 2013, and currently I'm responsible for a number of projects, including JIRA ecosystem, but also JIRA importers plugin and JIRA Capture. I know that you were actually expecting to see someone else right now on stage. Brian Rollins asked me to deliver this presentation for you, but I actually see him on the audience and he's frowning. Oh dear. Okay, I have 4 topics to discuss, or 4 pillars of JIRA ecosystem investment, if you will. But before I do that, a quick roadmap. I know that everyone loves roadmaps. So we have released JIRA 6.2 earlier this year. We are really close to releasing JIRA 6.3. And throughout this presentation, I will be talking about both the features that are already released and those that we are planning for one of the future releases. The first topic is the software. So let me quote Atlassian mission first. Atlassian mission statement. It says that Atlassian exists to unleash the potential in every team to advance humanity through the power of software. And we are focusing on one team in particular. This is the software development team. And this is not just the focus for JIRA, it's the focus for all Atlassian products, for each of the products. But this is JIRA State of the Union presentation, so let's take a look at it from JIRA perspective. So one of the problems that we have identified recently is that in a typical development cycle, there are a lot of context switching events. So let's see an example. If a developer is asked to deliver a solution, a code for a particular bug fix, or a story, he needs to first find this story in JIRA, then perform a code branch, start typing the code in his favorite IDE, then perform some pull requests, merges. Eventually, he closes the issue. There's a lot of context switching between different tools. There's JIRA, there's Stash or Bitbucket, there's an IDE, then again a Bitbucket, and then again JIRA. So can we eliminate some of these context switching events? Yes, we can. And in fact, we did. In JIRA 6.2, we have introduced a feature allowing you to create branch in the code directly from the JIRA issue page. Not only you can do that, you can actually see the pull requests and commits directly from JIRA. And we are not stopping there. We are actually continuing this effort. So pretty soon you will have additional feature in that path, this time from the other side of the cycle. Once the issue actually traverses different stages of development, it will automatically be updated in JIRA as well. So different actions in Stash and Bitbucket will be transferred to JIRA, and the issue will actually move across the workflow. It will change its status. Speaking about statuses of issues in JIRA 6.2, we have introduced a concept of a status lozenge. So what is a status lozenge? It's a quite nicely looking way of displaying an information about the status of an issue to you. And it's consistent across different views and screens in JIRA. You will see the same status lozenge in the workflow editor, in the issue navigator, and an issue view page. The cool thing about status lozenge is that it actually bears additional information. It not only tells you the exact status name, but it also gives you the idea what the status category is. And we have 3 such categories. We have category for issue that hasn't yet been started, the issues that are actually in progress, and those that are closed. And this information is encoded in the color of the lozenge. Not only do we encode it in the color, but it's also possible to query for the status category using JQL. Why do I bring it up? If you have a plugin or an add-on that is displaying status of an issue using the old icons, you should move over and use the new status lozenges. It will be consistent with the rest of JIRA, and it will also, well, it will look nice, obviously, but it will also give this information of status category just as well. Speaking about issues, well, the life cycle of an issue actually starts when it's created. And we are working on a really nice feature right now. It's called inline issue create. So what does it do? It allows you to create issues really nicely and really fast within the context. An example. Imagine you have a plan view of your Scrum board, and you have issues grouped into iterations, and there are also issues in the backlog. In each of these iterations that are not started yet, you will see such a little widget at the bottom, as you can see on the screenshot there. It's just a one line of text. If you click on it and start typing your issue summary and press enter, the magic will happen. So first of all, the issue will be created exactly within the context. But not only this, all the information from both the JQL filter used for the board definition, the JQL filter used for the quick filter, the selected epic and the selected version, all of that will be extracted and injected into this newly created issue. So what it means is that you type just a single line of text, you press enter, and you end up with an issue, new issue, that has potentially dozens of fields already pre-filled with data. Pretty nice. Good thing about it is that it's actually created in JIRA, even though the GUI is manifesting itself only in JIRA Agile right now. But we want to add this feature to other screens in JIRA. For example, in order to create a subtask for an existing issue within an issue view page. Let me now tell you a story about two guys, Jim and Jason. JIM is an acronym of JIRA Importers plugin. It's a plugin that allows you, as the name says, to import data into JIRA. And you can import data from many different systems and file formats. In fact, JIRA Importers plugin is also pluggable, and some of the formats that we support and third-party systems are supported through plugins to JIM. And one of such plugins to JIM is JSON, the other guy in my story. So you know what JSON or who JSON is. JSON is a fantastic and very flexible format for data. And JSON importer was in beta stage for many months. Recently, we have actually released it to GA together with a fantastic documentation. And why is this important from the ecosystem perspective? Well, when I speak to you, many of you actually ask about bulk operations on JIRA for inserts and modifications. If you want to do that, if you need to do that within your plugins or add-ons, JSON importer is probably one of the places that you should check, especially given the fact that we are working on making sure that the REST API of JSON importer is public and stable, so you will be able to actually perform these bulk operations on inserts and modifications from within your Atlassian Connect add-ons as well. And as we were doing these changes, we have also improved the CSV importer, and we want to make it available for plain users. So not only JIRA admins, but also regular users with write access to project will be able to inject or modify issues using CSV importer. Important thing to know here is that we have actually improved the verification process in a way. So if there are any errors within the CSV file, they will be picked up before the import actually starts. So there is a lot of time saving potentially involved. I have said that software teams are the most important teams for us, but they should be equally more important for you. And in fact, let me encourage you. If you happen to write a fantastic plugin, a killer add-on that is targeting agile teams or Git-oriented teams, let us know about it, and we will do our best to promote you in one of our blog posts or in another way. So basically, we could go together and address the demands of the software teams together. All right, the second pillar of investment is OnDemand. So why is OnDemand so important? I know that, well, you have been already informed numerous times during AtlasCamp about the importance and investments in OnDemand, but let's just take a quick look at the numbers from JIRA perspective. This is the graph that shows the amount of new customers for JIRA divided by the platform. As you can see, there are actually more new customers selecting OnDemand instance as opposed to BTF. In fact, 2/3 of our new customers are choosing OnDemand right now. There's a huge opportunity in that market. Let me go back to a quote that Jean-Michel have given you yesterday about the customers and vendors who were approaching him throughout the last several years during Atlassian events and asking for plugin platform for OnDemand. Well, as you all know, we have built this platform. It's called Atlassian Connect 1.0. But let me pause here. I think that I have to thank you now, because it was only thanks to enormous effort of many of you that made this release possible. You have spent hours on calls. You have sent hundreds of emails and issues. And actually, some of you participated in 2 Atlassian Connect Lab Week events held in Amsterdam and in Sydney last year. And all the information and all the feedback that we have gathered actually made this release possible. So kudos go to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. So what are the results of all that work? Right now, we have 20 public Atlassian Connect add-ons for JIRA. And the important thing to mention here is that only 3 out of these 20 are add-ons created by Atlassian. The remaining 17, so the vast majority of these add-ons were created by you. And I know that more of these add-ons are coming. In fact, when I speak with many of you, there's pretty much the same story every time. You have either started working on Atlassian Connect add-on already, or you plan to do it in a near future. So I expect these numbers to be much, much higher next year. Let's take a quick look at the architecture of Atlassian Connect from JIRA perspective. As you probably know, it's spanning across these 3 nodes. So we have JIRA server, we have Atlassian Connect add-on server somewhere in the cloud where Atlassian Connect code is being hosted. And the 3rd node is the web browser. And we have 4 different building blocks that constitute Atlassian Connect in JIRA. The first building block is REST API. And of course, it's being used between Atlassian Connect server and between JIRA, as well as from within the browser via the JavaScript code. The second building block is actually a sibling to REST API. It's webhooks. They are sibling, but they look in the other direction. So they are used to notify about events that happen in JIRA. They are used to notify the server where Atlassian Connect admin lives. The third element is the GUI integration, where JIRA allows you to inject the content rendered by the Atlassian Connect server into the iframe within the single browser window of the user. And from the user perspective, it's really difficult to tell what portion came from JIRA server, what portion came from Atlassian Connect server. So they are blended seamlessly there. And finally, the 4th element of this puzzle are entity properties. And they are kind of a special case. I want to go back to this in a second. But first, let's take a look at REST API in JIRA. So right now, we have over 120 REST API points in JIRA, and this number is actually growing with each and every on-demand release that we have. We also have SOAP API. Some of you are using SOAP API as well. Know that SOAP API is not supported for Atlassian Connect, and we are actually moving towards migrating all the functions that are currently not covered in REST API to be covered in REST API. We are around 80% advanced in this effort. User interface integration. We have 12 different UI points currently available for you, ranging from web panels through general pages to dialogues. And as I said, they are seamlessly integrated in the GUI. But what's more important is that they are actually context aware. So let me tell you what it means. It means that if, for example, you have an issue view page, and within that issue view page, you have a web panel, not only your add-on will know that this web panel was displayed within issue view page, it will also know the exact ID of an issue for which it was displayed.
Bartek, what the hell? Like, this is a lot of little detail, but people need to understand the motivation behind Connect and how important it is to Atlassian.
Well, Brian, thank you for interrupting my presentation. I don't agree with you. I think these are developers. They should know both the high-level motivation and low-level details.
But they need to understand like how important this is. Like, Connect is the biggest strategic opportunity for the entire JIRA ecosystem.
All right. Can I quote you on this?
Can you quote me on this? Sure.
All right, everyone. Let me quote Brian on this. Connect is the biggest strategic opportunity for JIRA ecosystem. I promised I will go back to entity properties. So entity properties are actually quite important from the perspective of Atlassian Connect add-ons because they allow you to store hidden data next to JIRA issues and JIRA projects. Entity properties are currently provided for issues and projects. We actually plan to expand this coverage to other entities in future. What does it mean? You can store the data next to issues to projects, you can retrieve it, and you can then render the interpretation of that data using one of the iframes, one of the UI points. So in essence, we are speaking about Atlassian Connect custom fields here with their own specific renders. And you are free to use whatever type of renderer you choose. Important thing to understand here is that when it comes to JIRA issue properties can be also searched for and extracted using JQL, because JQL covers issue searches. Let me give you some examples of how issue properties could be used. Let's imagine a situation where you want to display a map with coordinates. You can store the coordinates next to the JIRA issue and then use your own map renderer within one of the panels to display the map and put a pin with the coordinates on it. You can create private or public to-do lists, private labels. Very important thing is storing the synchronization status in case of connectivity between JIRA and other systems. Versions of issues, sky's the limit. There are multiple opportunities. Let me give you a bit better detailed example. This is one of the add-ons that were created recently. In fact, Tongi created it. Is Tongi somewhere here? Raise your hand, man. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Tongi has created this add-on, and it's an integration between JIRA and any.do. Are you using any.do? Does anyone use any.do? It's a system, it's a service that allows you to store quick to-do lists in different categories. The to-do list is stored in the cloud, but there are clients for phones, for desktop machines, and so on. And Tongi has created a simple add-on. It's actually a static add-on without a backend, and it's powered by JavaScript only, that allows you to store to-do list next to your JIRA issue. And issue properties are used to store the synchronization information. So Tongi told me that he took Jean-Michel's word from yesterday quite literally, and he implemented this add-on during the coffee break. To be honest, I'm not sure what size of the coffee cup he was using and how long the break took, but you're free to ask Tongi yourself. He's over there. All right, the third pillar of investment is Service Desk. But let me quote the Atlassian mission again. But this time, I want you to focus on these two words. Oh, sorry, a bit too fast. We are targeting every team. We want to unleash the potential of every team. And Service Desk is our attempt to unleash the potential of IT service teams. It's the fastest growing Atlassian Connect product that we built organically within Atlassian, and it comes with a fantastic knowledge base on SLAs. But what does it mean from the ecosystem or a plugin developer perspective? Well, actually, Service Desk was built on top of existing and evolving JIRA APIs. And even though it does not expose its own APIs just yet, we are working on it. It is built on the platform. So anything that JIRA platform provides can be used to contact or to manipulate how Service Desk works. And it opens the whole spectrum of different connectivity possibilities. Just let me show you just a few of those. Asset management, customer relationship management tools, network monitoring management, and social media, telephony. Sky's the limit again. Now, we are always playing it fair with you. So let me stop here for a second and just tell you something. Asset management is actually one of the elements that we are keeping on our radar within Atlassian ourselves. So keep that in mind when building the strategy for your companies. The final pillar that I wanted to talk about today is enterprise. Today, when we speak with our largest customers, we can see certain patterns or certain groups of comments that they provide. So there is one group that says, we are experiencing certain performance and availability problems today with JIRA. It's a pain for us. What can you do to help us? There's another group that says, we are expecting JIRA to be compliant with certain architecture standards. Are there any architectural standards that JIRA is compliant with? Finally, there's another group that says, we do not have any performance problems yet, but we are growing. And we know that there are certain performance and availability limits that we will hit sooner or later. What can we do today to prepare for that? We are proactive. We want to be ready when it hits us. So we took all these comments into account, and we have built a new offer, which is called Data Center. So what is JIRA Data Center? It's actually a clustered architecture that addresses the requirements pertaining to high availability and scale. And it will be delivered with JIRA 6.3 release. Important thing to understand is that from the user perspective, clustered and non-clustered JIRA instances are actually feature equal. Probably most of the users will not even be able to tell the difference between the clustered and non-clustered JIRA instances. They will be completely identical for their eyes. We have started the effort of building data center quite early, but since March this year, our most important public JIRA instance, jira.atlassian.com, or Jack, another guy in my story as we call it internally, it's clustered and it's working perfectly. We have also approached a number of our largest customers with an offer to participate in a Pioneer program. And we have learned a lot from that, but the takeaway from here is that, and something I wanted to share with you guys, is that there were no blockers. We have learned a lot of smaller issues, but these customers are actually super happy. They're using these solutions right now. Now, I have said that from the user perspective, there is no difference. However, there are certain requirements that pertain to how the plugins are written. And in fact, today at 2:30 p.m., Chris Fuller is going to deliver a presentation where he will talk to the details, how to create a data center ready plugin. And there is also a public documentation that I encourage you to read about the making sure that the plugin is ready for a clustered environment. The point is that once your plugin is actually compliant with data center, you will be able to declare such a readiness yourself, in a very similar way how you declare support for a specific version of JIRA. Once done, such a declaration will be visible on the marketplace next to your plugin. It will allow the users who use the data center deployment to find your plugins quickly and make sure that the plugins they are searching for are compliant with their architecture. Probably the biggest question that you have is related to pricing. The pricing will be revealed with JIRA 6.3 release, but there are two things that I want you to know today, and actually both of them are good news. So the first one is that there are no pricing changes required from the plugins at all, so you can sleep safely. The other thing to consider is the growth in scalability. So you remember that clustering gives the high availability, but also the scale improvements. So you should probably consider changing the pricing of your add-ons for those higher tiers as a consequence of that. So that's a good news as well. So that concludes the part of the data center focus of enterprise, but we also provide features for regular users, regular large users who will not buy the data center offer. And one of such features is configuration audit trail. Configuration audit trail is pretty much an activity stream, but not related to the data. It's related to the configuration within JIRA, so that JIRA admins will be able to see who changed what and when and where, and track these changes over time. This feature was released in JIRA 6.2, but only after the release we have added 2 important extensions to that. So first of all, you will be able to add elements to JIRA configuration audit trail using REST API. Should your plugin or add-on actually have some configuration changes that you want to keep in the log. And equally, you will be able to read these entries back. So regardless of the pillar of investment that we are looking on, whether this is software or on-demand or service desk or enterprise, there are tons of great opportunities for you to build fantastic add-ons and to be successful. If you have any questions, please catch myself or Brian on the corridor. Thank you very much.